Hi, my friend. I'm so glad that you are listening to the episode of the show today because today we're going to talk about something that I never get tired of talking about. We're going to talk about mindset and we're going to talk also about success because these two are really interconnected. When we are pursuing success, we have goals, we have a certain thing that we're going after, we're not going to have a straight path or an easy path. And our mindset plays a big role in how we can be able to, again, when we fall, get up. Our guest today is someone who loves anything outdoorsy. She plays board games with friends and family and a good glass of wine. So I know that we're going to have a great conversation. Welcome, my friend, Carina Groombridge. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and dive in.
Yeah, I have a very important question before we proceed. What kind of red wine is your favorite?
Ooh, lately I've been gravitating more towards white wine, actually, like
Oh, you
Chardonnay.
have. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
like a
very
Pinot
fun.
Grigio.
A
Like
Pinot
really.
Grigio, those are my go-to usually. Well, I have to a caveat. Pinot Grigio is probably what I would always go for. That or a Riesling in the white wines. And lately, I went somewhere and they only had Chardonnay and it was delicious. And I thought, am I like missing the boat of the Chardonnays? Like, what's going
You're gonna
on
have to
here?
convert over.
Yeah. But, and now that we're getting into spring here in the East Coast, definitely white wines are more fun than the red ones. But,
Mm.
if you're
Especially
giving me a
like
glass of red, I won't turn it down.
especially midsummer. Midsummer and a nice cold glass of wine is
Ooh,
lovely.
yes. One of the things that I am thinking of doing is because I love socializing and just sometimes, life happens and we don't meet with our friends as often as possible. So I live in a very pretty central to a lot of different other towns around here. So I was thinking of having a wind down Wednesdays in my patio. So whoever wants to come can, and
Brilliant.
between, 5 and 7, I'm going to be sitting outside, maybe having dinner and have some wine. If you come over, you can bring your stuff or I'll have some for you. And yeah, and then this way I can catch up with friends and not have to go anywhere.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. So when you're in the neighborhood, you're gonna need to come to my wind down Wednesdays.
Exactly. Exactly. I actually just
Yeah.
made a trip to Michigan, so
Oh,
not
very
quite your
nice.
neighborhood, but
Well,
still.
not quite, but still. Now, what part of Michigan did you go to?
Grand Rapids.
Okay, that's one
Mhm.
area that I haven't been to. I've gotten to the airport. I guess it's not really being, but in that area, the Bloomfield, which is one of the areas in Michigan, but near the capital, near Ann Arbor. But again, I was just there, like passing by. It wasn't like a crazy visit that I really got to know the neighborhood. But
Yeah.
I've always been curious. I actually want to go to Mackinac Island. Have you been?
No, we didn't get up there. It was a
Okay.
little chilly for
Mhm,
their season. I think they normally do more of a summer thing, but we didn't
mhm.
get up
Yeah.
there this time.
I found someone, my friend actually has been there, but I found someone, I guess the algorithm was just listening to me talk to my husband about it. And I started to get these videos of people who actually do live in Mackinac Island full
Huh.
time. And now they don't allow cars, they don't have cars on the island.
Yeah.
It's all horse or bicycle. But it was very interesting to kind of go and see the videos of someone that lives there. And when they got snow, they got snowed in. So that was very interesting to be able to see.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So now tell me, I am curious because, our journeys sometimes are not like these straight paths like we talked about. And you are currently someone that is very immersed in helping and supporting individuals with their mindset and growth. But you started, you started as a engineering major, mechanical engineering at that. Tell me more about that. What was that path from being a mechanical engineer to all of a sudden, transitioning to what you're doing today?
I know, right? It seems a bit funny when you kind of like lay it out. Uh, for me, it now makes total sense in my
Mhm.
brain.
Yeah.
Perfect. But definitely to jump from one to the other, it was a bit of it was a whirlwind.
Mhm.
I started in engineering mainly because when I was a kid, I was
Mhm.
always jealous of those kids who like knew exactly what they wanted to do. I was not
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah. I wanted to
I
do a lot of things, but never
well,
the one thing, right?
exactly, like, there was never one thing that really, like, lit me up, like, "Oh my god, I need to do this." And so my parents' advice was, "Just keep getting educated." I was like,
Mhm.
"Alright, I can do that." And that led me to getting an engineering degree because I like to figure out how things worked. I
Yeah.
loved problem solving, I loved, like,
Mhm.
figuring out problems.
Mhm.
Um, so that kind of got me to my education, but then once I got in the field and was sitting there working and I was like, "Ooh, okay, I really wanna move up, like, I wanna grow this and be successful." And I was like, like, then I had kids, and I
Mm.
realized it did not
Okay.
actually fit with the family life and the what I now wanted, like, my
Yeah.
what I wanted changed, my values changed, and I was like,
Mhm.
like, this is not where I wanna pour my heart into because they didn't care about my time, they didn't, like, it
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
wildly different, and
It
that
is
was
a
the
very
push.
male-dominated world. My husband, again,
Yep,
he works in the engineering, side of aerospace, and
yep.
that's his
That
9 to
I was in
5.
aerospace as well, yeah.
Yeah, and it really not a lot of women, and when they are, I just think we need to celebrate them because they not only have to contend with, right, raising a family, changing so many different hats and wearing them, but also, being in an industry that it's still pretty much a male-dominated industry.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
honestly, that part, the male-dominated part, didn't mind. Fit right in,
Mhm.
like, I was good from that
Yeah.
aspect, but it was the fact that it was just so ingrained within the culture that,
Mhm.
you wanna move up, work harder, like, give us
Mm.
more of your time, like, be available on evenings and weekends and all of that, and I was like, "I'm not subscribing to this. This is
Mhm.
a no."
No,
So
and you
that
know what? Even now as a business owner, many entrepreneurs leave the stability of a 9 to 5 because they want freedom, but they end up working rather than 9 to 5, 24/7.
Yep,
And they need to, and this is something that I'm really passionate about, they need to learn how to be able to prioritize, how to be able to delegate, and how to be able to set the boundaries between your life and your business. Because otherwise, if you're working 24/7, go work somewhere else. Don't work for yourself, because you're
yes.
really tiring yourself.
Absolutely. And I mean, I feel like I probably could be one of those people if I
Hmm.
didn't have children. But because I have children, I have a
Yeah.
very set work schedule and, once they're home, like my after work hours, like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's also what I want. Like I want
Hmm.
to be have my daytime working hours, maybe fit a couple things in here or there, but my goal, my objective in making this jump and really going to work for myself was to be able to have the sick days with the kids, to take vacation when I wanted to take vacation, to be there at home when they got home from school. And I find you're right. Like a lot of that balance can be really blurred when we go and work for ourselves and you just like you love what you do and you want to do it.
Yeah.
But then you also need to mix in like, okay, this needs to balance out with family and having a social life and not doing something other than work.
Oh, 100%. And even, for someone like me who doesn't have kids, I need to remind myself, okay, you're done, right? And my husband is actually the one that does a very good job of closing out the office. Otherwise,
Like, hey, I want to hang
I
out with you.
yeah, I definitely, could get sidetracked and could stay on doing something. So yeah, so that happens to most of us. But I wonder because one of the things, and we talked about it in the beginning of the episode, I mentioned about mindset and business, and one of the things that you say is that over the years you develop a rock solid mindset. What is a rock solid mindset, in your opinion?
So for me, what that looks like is well, one, it's not perfection because like nobody's perfect. But what that means is I've developed this ability to, when I am having a tough time, when I am getting stuck, I've been able to now realize what's happening in my head and been able to either work on it for myself, reach out to get support, reach out for coaching when I need it. And that's, I guess, more to me of what builds up a rock solid mindset is not the perfection of like, oh, it's like I'm good and I'm doing amazing and all the things all the time, because look, we're going to fail, we're going to hit a wall, we're going to like things aren't going to go as planned, but it's how we recover from it. And it's
Mm.
how we're going to support ourselves and talk to ourselves in that process. That's really, to me, the rock solid mindset that I've developed over the years.
Now, did you have to rewrite a lot of your programming from an early age?
Yes, I feel like there's some things that really supported me as like from growing up and childhood and all of that. But there's other things like a fear of failure and not wanting to look bad and the pride of like I want this to work and I want everything to be good and all of that. So there was a lot that I did have to rewrite for myself, and it took getting up and failing and trying again and getting up and failing and trying again and realizing like, "Oh, okay, I see what's happening here now." Like it's not just like having it all set
Yeah.
and being good from the get-go. It's
Mhm.
figuring out, okay, what do I need to actually change here? What's the thing that's not serving me?
Yeah. I think we always have to do this auditing, right, as we're going through. And I often find that for many of us, right, if we've been in this personal development journey and we begin to grow a business and we're incorporating our mindset and the tools that we learned for our personal development, we get to a point in which we thought we worked on that, but now, okay, we need to dig a little deeper and work on
Yes.
that again. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like the spiral, but it's really important to know that it's not that we're falling behind, but that we have to learn the lesson in a deeper manner.
Yes, and I find it's interesting you say that, because I find the things that come up at one level of business, they're quite likely gonna come up at the different levels, but now like it if you didn't clean it up to begin with, then
Mhm.
you're gonna have like it's just gonna stay with you for starters. And
Yeah.
even if you did kind of clean it up and resolve it, at the $50,000 mark when you're making $500,000, it's like, oh shit, this is still here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I see what's
Absolutely.
happening.
I often say, and again, it's not my saying. I've heard it before, and I've adopted it into the ones that I steal all the time. But new levels, new devils,
Yes.
and again, they may be your old familiar things, but they're in a new way, in a deeper way that is really going to cause you to explore and be vulnerable to yourself and open and be willing to be curious to see them as well.
Absolutely. Like I had a client that we just discovered a pattern that she'd been doing for over 10 years. And this is
Yeah.
somebody, she's smart, she's powerful. Like she walks into a room, everyone's like, "Ooh, like I want to get to know you." And she didn't maybe she noticed she was doing it, but it wasn't like a really obvious, like in your face thing. And now that
Mhm.
she sees it, she's like, oh, she's like, okay, I see how much it's still keeping me small, even though she's doing
Mhm.
amazing. She's getting out there doing stuff, but it's
Mhm.
still kind of like her like tethering her down.
Mhm.
So that was one of those things that she just didn't see on her own.
Yeah, fascinating. I think that, this is again why it is so incredibly important that we find the individuals that come alongside of us and help us sort of work through this, because we can do a lot of the work on our own, but sometimes we need what we often refer to here in the show a believing mirror. Someone that
Mm.
is going to reflect to us not only the good stuff and the gifts that we have, but really say, hey, what about this? Maybe you're trying to ignore it. Maybe you don't want to see it, but
Yep.
this is going to be a really great component for you to work on to get to the next level.
Yes, exactly. I feel like that's what coaching does, right? It gets that
Absolutely.
outsider perspective. And
Hmm.
for me, it's really easy when I go and talk to a business owner, like, oh, okay, well, this is what I see. And
Yeah.
oftentimes that they just don't see it themselves, or they're so
Hmm.
they're so in it that they don't have
Yeah.
that like bird's eye view.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, I think, my favorite thing is when I'm working with a client and they will say to me, "Ah, that's you make me so uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. It's very hard." I'm like, "Yeah, I
Like,
know. How about that?" And I
that's the
don't make
point.
them do anything, but I
Yeah,
open the door for them to see the different things, and they know they have to go through the door. And yet, it's uncomfortable for them. And I know that
yeah,
as a coach, I'm doing my job when I'm making them see,
yeah.
open the door, and then it's their job to take a step. And whether or not they step in, as a coach, I'm always going to be their cheerleader, but also the reminder that if they want to get to where they want to go, it's going to be a requirement that they go through that.
Yes, and it's gonna be uncomfortable.
It's going to be uncomfortable. And by the way, if you think you're the only one who's uncomfortable, wrong. I'm uncomfortable daily basis. And
Yeah.
by the way, that's how I know, right? I'm progressing. Okay, that's uncomfortable for me.
Actually, I do the exact same thing. If
Yep.
I look back on my week or my month, and if I
Mhm.
haven't been able to pinpoint something that's kinda made me wanna like
Yeah.
"Oh, this is scary." If I haven't identified those things, then I'm not doing a very good job.
Yeah.
And that's, like, now
I
what I seek out.
I love it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Stoic journal, but I do that on my phone in the mornings and at night when I don't feel like having a long, drawn out journaling with pen and paper, which is typically what I will do. But sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't feel like writing. But the Stoic journal keeps me very centered, and it will ask questions like, what out of the relationships that that you connected with today made you the most uncomfortable, and where do you and it's like, I didn't even
Ooh,
think of
good
that, but
one.
wait a minute, you're right, this is why I got in a bad mood, because that person said that, right? And you kind of
Mhm.
can unpack different things.
I
Yeah.
love it, that's good.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it. It's a free app, the Stoic journal, and they have meditations, all kinds of other things, and then you can really set up your day and talk about, like, okay, these are the things that I'm focusing on today. And at night, it will say, hey, did you do that? That you, and it will measure how you're feeling, and then you can actually go and see, oh my God, the past week I've been feeling shitty all week. I need to go
Ooh,
and kind of figure out what is it that's making me. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
it's a really good tool
Um,
for awareness because most people
it
don't
sure is.
we don't have
Yeah.
that awareness built in,
Mhm.
right?
No,
Very
we
cool.
don't. And now I wonder, because I know that for me, but I would imagine this is the same for you. When individuals come to you and maybe they worked with a coach before, but they haven't made the growth or improvement, or they haven't gotten to where they're at. What is the one thing that you do different that can help individuals in that realm?
So I find for me, the way that I structure my program, the way that I like to work with my clients, it's not a 1, 2, 3, like we're going to do these steps.
Mhm.
It's really tailored to the individual. And I know
Mm,
there's a lot of different coaching programs out there.
mhm,
And, some have like a very structured, we're going to walk you through this, that, the next thing.
mhm,
And not just like there's nothing wrong with that. But what
mhm.
I find is it's not necessarily suited for everyone. So if
Yeah.
you think like, oh, okay, I need this thing, and then you go into the program and it doesn't work for you, it's
Mhm.
not because the program doesn't work. Maybe it just wasn't the best fit for you.
Yeah.
So the thing that I really like to do with my clients is understand, okay, where are you at today? Where is it that you want to go? And then
Mhm.
we kind of map out that path to get them there together
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
okay, like these are the pieces that are missing for you, or this is what needs to be cleaned up in order to get you there. And the
Mm,
biggest part that I'm looking at is how are you showing up to things? How are you
mm,
processing things? Like,
yeah.
what is the mindset behind it? What version of you are you showing up as throughout this process? So I'm really that
Mhm.
person for you to tap into your highest self, like the most powerful version of you. I help you pull her out.
Mm, I like that. I know that many of us come with a lot of baggage, and I wonder, what is the
Yep.
biggest mental baggage that people carry,
Oh,
and what is a good way to unpack that?
oh, that's an excellent question. I feel like it's a different kind of flavor for everyone.
Mhm.
I see a lot of people pleasing. There's a
Mm,
lot of
yeah.
that, especially I work with a lot of women, so people
Mhm.
pleasing is definitely up there in trying
Oh,
to do everything for
mhm.
everyone else and make sure everyone
Yeah.
else is good, which is very much like parenting 101, right? Like you
Yep.
have to make sure and put other
Yeah.
people's needs above your own. But then
Mhm.
there's like this kind of balance we need to draw to make sure that you actually are taking care of you first.
Mhm. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is a huge one that I see, as
Mhm.
well as just this ingrained kind of, am I enough? Is what I'm doing enough?
Mhm.
Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I strong enough? And I
Mhm.
find that can also be a big play a big factor and in how we make decisions, in how we show up. So I find those two things are really, really common and come up a lot in my coaching.
Yeah, I see that as well. Yesterday, I actually and every once in a while I do work with very cool dudes, and I was working with one of them yesterday, and I couldn't help but to think, again, very similar to what you're mentioning. They're not immune to beating themselves up and questioning or failing and having these thoughts that don't serve them, but definitely the people pleasing is not at the top of their list.
I know, I know. I've noticed that as well. It's
Mhm.
definitely a big divide between
Yeah.
like male and female. So
Yeah, and by the way, I if I could do anything in this world and help individuals break away from the I have to be everything for everyone, and it will define me as a terrible person if I don't. And then they're giving to everyone. They have their own dreams, and then all of a sudden, because they're doing it for all, their dreams kind of go by their wayside. If I can help them kind of break out of that pattern, I think that I've done my job, honestly, because
yeah.
I see that all the time. And there is a way to be able to, have the family, be the good wife, the good daughter, the everything, but still do it in a way in which you have the boundaries, but you're still pursuing what's important to you, what you want to accomplish, and what you believe will create the legacy for yourself as well.
Yeah, and I find most people I'm on that same mission of really helping individuals go in and do that and you can have it all, quote unquote. And it's just it needs to be talked about more. Like it
Mm.
needs to be, broadcast
Yeah.
far and wide so that people see like, oh, okay, wait, this is actually possible to go for my dreams and still, be a good mom, be a good friend, be a good wife and all of it.
Yeah, indeed. I think that, there's also the pressure of the culture that says we have to hustle,
Uh,
we have to hustle, we have to do it. And when we're doing that, right? Because again, I'm ambitious and I like to hustle, but that doesn't serve me or my clients or my husband or anything that I want to accomplish.
yeah, absolutely. And it actually, I find, um, like takes away from
Hmm.
where you're going and how you're showing
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
I one of the first things that I do with my clients who struggle to and like hustle and, are always on is to figure out, okay,
Mhm.
when are we putting in your calendar your downtime? And this could look like
Mhm.
just for all the moms out there because it can be really hard to
Yeah.
find those pockets of time. And when people say go meditate for an hour, that's laughable, like really laughable if you have small children. But even just giving yourselves like 5 minutes of time, like have
Mm.
your tea and don't get up
Yeah.
or go put your feet in the grass. I mean, it's
Mhm.
kind of mucky right now in my
Yep.
house, but like
But little
taking
things, you can find the
exactly,
pockets. It's about finding the
exactly.
pockets and, not defining that, oh, the little pocket is not enough, because that's the story that we tend to say,
Mhm.
oh, that's
Yeah.
not going to help. For many years, if I didn't journal for hours or pages, then I wasn't journaling. And then I realized that the more that I told myself I wasn't journaling, the less I wanted to do it. And the more I
Yeah.
felt like a failure. And then I didn't journal. And then I had more stuff to unpack until I decided, you know what, if I'm going, and again, this is the tiny habits coach in me. I decided that even if I wrote one sentence or typed one sentence, I am unpacking something that is journaling. And
Mm.
that makes me a girl who journals every day. Right. And
Yes.
therefore, I am successful. And it gives me the ability to then go try it again. And the more that we do the thing, the more evidence we have that we're doing it, the more competent we become and the more confident we become. And that's how that works. And
Mm,
sometimes people don't see that at all. And I was there, I didn't see that until it kind of clicked on me.
absolutely. And I have the
Yeah.
same sort of relationship with, like, I've had the same sort of relationship with exercise my whole life of like, it might not look perfect. It might
Yeah.
not be every day, like to the
Hmm.
top level that I
Right.
want, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to do something and I'm going to let it
Yeah.
count. And I feel like a lot of
Absolutely.
people just don't let it count.
No. And by the way, if you look back at school, we used to get a participation grade. Sometimes a participation grade, you may be not doing it to the standard, but you're participating, you're
You're showing
doing it,
up.
you're showing up. And that's an A in my book. And that's something that we have to give room to ourselves to have. You talked about how you help individuals really begin to say these no's and create these boundaries. For me, when working with clients, I typically, before we plan their business, we plan, okay, when are you taking time off? When
Mhm.
are you putting in your life into the spectrum? And a lot of people are afraid of planning ahead, or they don't see ahead. Do you plan ahead? And I wonder, what are some of the tools that you use for kind of prioritizing and planning and doing all of that for your personal and business life?
So I do I've gotten into more of the habit of planning ahead because I find it's just otherwise for me it then doesn't get on the calendar, right? And especially for things like vacations or trips
Mhm.
or anything, um, or trainings that I'm running or all of it. I like to put it on the calendar. I personally have a big year-long calendar up
Mhm.
in my office,
Love
and
that.
it's so fun to just be able to see at a glance. Like I can see when
Um,
my speaking events are, I can see when my vacations are and
mhm.
the trainings that I'm running. And I really like that. And
Yeah.
I do the same thing as you said with my clients to say, okay,
Mhm.
like where are you in this calendar?
Mhm.
Like I just came back from a 5-day trip, as I said, to Michigan with my
Mhm.
business bestie, and we did Q2 planning and relaxing.
Fun.
And
Oh,
it
fun.
was the best.
That is the best. You have to find the
Yeah,
business besties that come alongside of you, and it's so
exactly.
good to be able to just take a step back and then really come in with a plan that you can just execute. I'm a little jelly that not only did you go away, because I haven't really finished my Q2 planning, but I'm going to do it this weekend. I'm doing my personal CEO retreat, but I also am jelly because I don't have enough walls, and I bought one of these yearly calendars that I could put it, but one whole wall is predominantly windows, the other one is a
Mm.
window, and then my husband's stuff is there, and then this little tiny wall doesn't fit. I'm like, oh, where can I do that? So I miss that because I'm a visual person,
I
and I need to
agree.
see it.
It's
It's so
super fun to
good.
see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Um, if someone wanted to go into earning the big income and the big dollars, and I want to clarify that that doesn't, making $1 million, getting a 7-figure 6-figure salary doesn't mean that you're successful. But if someone is trying to get to that space, what are the things that would be preventing them, and what is the mindset that they need to have in order to get there?
So for that, I mean, this is very like individual specific, right? Because of course, some people might struggle with one thing, some people
Yeah.
might struggle with another. But for me, the thing that I would want to dive into and understand is okay, what is your relationship with your business? What is your relationship
Mhm.
that you have with your money? How are you viewing it, talking about it?
Mhm.
Because if it's a constant like push pull of like, oh, I want to grow and scale, but my employees, they're not doing their job and it's not
Mhm.
working and it's
Right.
hard to find good employees, then for me, that's like the red flag that we want to go and
Mhm.
look at to say, okay, like we need to clean up
Yeah.
this piece because for you to scale, let's say your business to 1 million, you're going to need a team in place, most likely, to go and do that. And
Mhm.
if you're like hating on the team or how it's working or that structure, it's not supporting you to go and scale. So I have my eyes on like what is the piece for you in your business that's keeping you grounded that we need to really clean up.
Yeah. I think that, you hit the nail on the head. If you are going to scale, you have to be open to the idea that you are not indispensable. That you
Mm.
have to have other people do what you do best and delegate the rest, and it gives you the bandwidth to show up for yourself. And many people are spending so much time doing the things that are hard for them, when if you just turn that around and gave it to the person that is easy for,
Oh God,
then
I
guess
know.
what?
I've
It's
done this
not that
over
they
and
do it
over.
better, or maybe it's okay if they do it better, right?
Yep.
Because we think that we're the only people. I actually just hired a new staff member, and this is like our third person coming on board, and I was onboarding them. And as I was writing down the plan, and I knew some of the things that we were giving them, and I thought, Julie, you really need to just add that. I'm like, oh, but no, but I really like that. But I thought, is that really where my time should be? It's
Yes.
because if my hour and my hourly rate as the CEO for my business is X, that task is not the task that a CEO does.
Mm.
And it's not that the task is beneath me, but it's just that there's only certain tasks that I can do. And that person that I'm hiring, right? That's not what they can do. So this is why the distinction. It's important to have that initial understanding, and then the plan that gets you there.
Love it. I love it. I just
Yeah.
hired out something, a task that I had been meaning to do forever and it hadn't gotten
Mhm.
done. And now it's hired out. It'll be done by like Friday. Like, oh,
Nice.
thank God.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
good. So good.
Yeah. What are other ways in which you buy back your time, Karina?
Oh, so many things. Well, as we just mentioned, delegating out
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
it's something that is either not what I love to do, not where I want to spend my
Mhm.
time. Um, I've gotten very good at saying no, which is
Yeah.
so wildly helpful.
It
Um,
is. That's definitely
yeah,
buying back your time, saying no.
it absolutely is. But even better is saying no without the guilt.
Yes,
Like
because that's exactly it. And
that's
it's a
huge.
catch 22, because sometimes we say yes to stuff, but we really begrudge it. And
Exactly.
it's like that's not only the time deficit, but the mind deficit. It's really dragging you down as well, because you're just in a bad mood because you got to do the thing that you don't want to do and then you said yes to.
Exactly. So I've cleaned up and gotten really good at that ability and to leave
Mm,
like check the guilt at the door for that.
yeah, good,
Um,
good.
and as well, just delegating
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
And whether that's hiring out or whether that's
Mhm.
just like, hey, like at home, like I'm not going to do this thing. Like, hubby, can
Mhm.
you go and take care of this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like all of the pieces in my life that I'm like, okay, is this where I want to spend my time? Is this what I want to be
Mhm.
doing? And if the answer is no,
Yeah.
then that's not where I want to go and invest my time and effort.
No, absolutely. I actually was having this conversation with a family member, and they have an executive, high profile job, and one of the things that we were talking about is they're always tired, they're always
Mm.
exhausted, and I said, why don't you just have someone go and buy your groceries? Why don't you just get Instacart? They're like, oh, that's too expensive. You know how many fees they have? Well, listen, the fee is $5. And if that's $5 that I have to pay so that I don't
To
have to
save
drive
you
there,
an
that I don't
hour.
have to because by the way, no one's going to go to the store and just kind of like buy what's on the list. You're going to spend a lot more time. Right. And it's so much worth my time to be able to do that. And then
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, I don't have to go to the store today. I just got it."
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
often I find like your brain will be thinking one thing like, oh, this is so expensive, or oh, this will be so hard.
Mhm.
And when you actually work it out, it's not
It's
actually
it's
that expensive. It's not actually that hard, especially once you
mhm,
get clarity around, okay, like you said, like it's going to
mhm.
save me the time and the gas to get in the
Yeah.
car. And then they're only going to buy what's on the list. Like you've already saved money.
You
by
already
going
save
that route.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the other thing that I haven't taken the leap to do this and to use it. Well, I'm sort of using it, but not for me. My mom is moved. She's moved in with us, and she's elderly, has the beginnings of dementia. She's pretty much with it still, but certain moments. However, now there's more laundry to do.
Mm,
So,
yes.
and I happen to not mind laundry. I love folding. I worked retail at one point in my life, so I'm very good
Yeah.
at folding, and that kind of gives me this. It's therapeutic for me to fold clothes because I like to fold them just so anyway. But I decided I was going to just have her clothes and take them to the laundry service and do them. And my husband's like, "Well, how much is that? Why don't we just send ours out?" I'm like, "No, we're not sending ours out. We don't need that. I can do my own laundry." And I've been thinking about this because, yes, I can do it. However, even though I may want to do it, it's not a priority sometimes. And then
Mhm,
2 weeks go by, and now I have more laundry. And then it's like, oh my God, I have to do all of that. And then you
mhm, mhm.
wait, where if I was sending it out every week, right? $10 and it's done, it's folded, it gets put away. It's so much easier, but we make it hard on ourselves for sure.
Absolutely. Which
Yeah.
is, I don't know. I love to find the like little pockets where we can make it easier on ourselves and like
Mhm,
what can change. And also in looking at it in levels too. Like
mhm,
maybe the first tier to that is going to be okay, what maybe there's like one-off tasks you can delegate and
right.
like little things. And then maybe the next level is taking out this big chunk and,
Mm,
delegating that chunk out. And it
yeah.
might not have to be everything all at once because
Mhm.
our brains will like to kind of like all or nothing
Absolutely. That
thing.
happens.
Yeah. So I find
Yeah.
it's a really great exercise to just break down,
Mhm.
okay, if I'm going to do this, what could it look like? And what are the different levels that it could be?
Yeah, amazing. I think that there's so many opportunities, and this is, again, a really great place for someone to come alongside of you and call you out, and or maybe give you the ideas that we wouldn't have thought of,
Yes.
because we're so close to it. I was just reading a book, for a friend of mine. They're getting ready to launch the book, and he used this example, and I thought, I've thought of that so many times. But he was talking about how he was working with someone, and they had him come really, really close to a picture. It like put his nose to this painting
Mhm.
and says, "What do you see?" It's like a bunch of dots. And as he starts to step back, he starts to kind of see the picture more in focus. And the same thing happens with us, right? We have the painting right up our nose, and that's not going to allow us to see the full effect, the full picture. And this is why someone like you and like me and like other individuals that have been here on the show, we are committed to helping others see the full picture and find that success.
Yes, and that's such a great analogy too. I love it.
I love that. I know. When I read it yesterday, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be using this for a long time because I like it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Karina, you launched a podcast. Tell me more about that.
I did. It is called You Are Your Biggest Asset.
Ah, so good.
And I know, right? And it is really
Mm,
all about how to leverage
mm,
you and take care of you and really be able to excel and strive in, whether that's home life, work life. And for me, my focus is on scaling your business. So that is what we talk about. And it is so, so fun. I absolutely love it.
mm. Oh, good. Well, scale in growing in a world of entrepreneurship really does require you to have the right mindset, and you are the solution
Mhm.
for sure. It's you. A lot of times we want to say, well, these
Yeah.
things didn't align, that happened, but the reality is that we cannot control anything outside of us. We can only control ourselves and how we decide to show up and what we decide to think and how we decide to act. So all these things are definitely the things to remind ourselves. So I'm going to go and check out the episodes. I didn't realize that you had actually launched, so I'll go check it out. I'm excited to do so.
Yes,
I love
amazing.
binging. So now for individuals that are thinking, well, maybe I do need someone, to come alongside of me. Tell me a little bit more. You work in one-to-one groups. How do you usually support individuals?
Yeah. So at the moment, I do one on one support with my clients, and we spend at least 6 months together, really diving in and working on where you want to go, what you want to accomplish, and how we're going to get you there. So that's what
Mm,
I love, because that is just like, you have me in your back pocket. I am there to
that's
support
right.
you 100%. And that is what I have seen to be lead to the best results for my clients.
So good. So good. Well,
Uh,
I tell you, sometimes one to one is exactly what we need. And I'm so glad
yes.
that there's individuals like you who are, spending and investing in others so that they can get to that next level. And again, we could do it, but it's going to be painful, hard, and might take forever. Whereas sometimes if we have the person like Karina that comes alongside of us and they've done it, they know the shortcuts, right? It doesn't mean that, you're not learning the lessons, but you're learning them in a way that are more sustainable and keep you going faster for sure. So
Yes,
I
exactly.
love that. So now tell me, one of the things I love to ask our guest is we talked and unpacked about so many different things, and it was so fun to have this conversation. But for the
Mm.
person who is maybe out jogging or driving and couldn't take notes, but we are going to encourage them to implement one thing into their life to get a win. What would be the one quick win that they could do? What is the one thing that would help them in their journey, changing their mindset or going after their goals as a high achiever? What is the one thing that they could do?
Ooh, okay. So this is a really fun exercise that all of my clients laugh, and then it's wildly helpful. So I want you to ask yourself in your business, what is pissing you off?
Ooh,
Like,
that's good.
what is like getting under your skin? What's the thing that you keep being like, oh, I have to deal with this? And
Mhm.
that is what will lead to your growth. Going and
Mm,
looking at that and cleaning that up, that's
mhm,
going to be a huge shift for you to really move forward. And my clients have seen this in like client communication or delegating or letting go of clients. That has been like the sticky point for them.
mhm.
And then
Yep.
once we've cleaned it up, it like blew open the door to like, oh, like
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So
Wow.
that
It's
that
good,
is
by the way. That's great advice. I just
it's
did it in my brain and I
easy.
thought, what would be pissing me
Yeah.
off in my business? Right. And I thought, you know what? That's annoying. I should. And then I'm like, well, I have to do it. And I thought, no, I don't have to do it. I need to be
Oh,
able to be willing to let somebody else do it. And yeah, I
oh,
love that. See, I just got to win, even though,
um,
it hasn't even been a week. And I'm going to go back. And when I listen to this, I'm going to go get another win. You've been so gracious with your
love it.
time and wisdom. I'm so happy that you've been here. Will you come back again?
Absolutely. This has been
Huh.
amazing.
I know. I love
But
having these conversations with individuals who are like minded, but are really committed to helping and creating an impact in the world. And thank you so much for the work that you do and for continuing to bring you and your gifts to the world.
well, thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
It's been super fun. And my friends, I'm going to encourage you to go to Karina's website, which is carinagroombridge.com. We're going to have all the information in the show notes. We're also going to add her Instagram and all the other social media platforms where you can go and check her out. She has a little gift as well for you. We're going to put it in the show notes. We want to make sure that you can take advantage of her not only expertise, her wisdom, but her generosity, and the free gift that she has for you is the failure recovery. 4 steps to get back the feeling, get back to feeling powerful. See, I can't even read. You know the drill,
You got it.
everybody.
You got
Go
it.
to the show notes and you're going to get this free gift. And I hope that you go and give her some social currency. Let her know what you enjoy the most out of this episode. And thank you, my friend, for tuning in. I so appreciate you. Until next time, Karina, listener, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Thanks again.